Welcome, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of the Mortgage Mix podcast. I'm your host, Ralph Remy. As always, love to be with all of you here today. And today I am mixing it up with Sherry Wenrich of the Florida MBA, but also a sales training for CMG. Is it financial? Am I saying that right? Okay. So, and somebody who I have known very well as fellow trainers and have been able to share lots of insights. And that's what we're here today. So first of all, Sherry, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having
Sherry
me.
and I have shared so many training experiences over the years. And we thought, what a great opportunity to just talk about in this market, in this environment, the importance of training and the importance of, as they say, sharpening the saw and continuing to better and develop ourselves each and every day. So, Sherry, if you want to share what type of training you've been seeing from the team or impacting the team with, and some of the key things that you feel you've been focusing on.
I think the important thing is balance, because nobody gets paid till something gets sold.
Right.
So it definitely has to involve, sales training. But is that just products? Is that just learning how to use the system clinically? Is it personal motivation? I think the important thing is to recognize it's a little bit of all of that, because just like in our own life, we have to have a good balance of professional and personal, and always just making people aware that they can grow. One of the things I like to say in my training is you don't know what you don't know, and making it impactful, but also making it interesting and engaging, I think is something more than ever, especially since we are doing mostly webinar-based training in today's society and world. Is how can I still get that engagement, that connection in doing training?
Yeah, well, we know in training, engagement is such a large piece of the success of training, aside from, and I'm sure we'll talk about not just attending the training, but what you do with it afterwards. But let's talk it through about engagement. How do you continue to engage folks, especially in a virtual environment?
Well, I think the thing is, more so than using that word educator, is facilitator, that we're actually facilitating a conversation so that when we have webinar format or even in person, do we feel as if we need to educate them and tell them and speak at them, or are we speaking to them? And because of the expertise that we deal with in our industry, which is a wonderful thing, asking their thoughts, what is their input? And also sometimes what is their shortcomings? Where have they failed at this? What kept them from breaking through? What obstacle that was? And really exploring that way on the calls as well as in person, you come to those conclusions and ideas together. So just creating that space to collaborate.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I heard a lot from you is asking questions. Mm-hmm. You're asking what went well, what didn't go well, where are you still struggling, where are the opportunities? So having those questions not only gets them continuing to think, but also lets you understand where the opportunities are for you as a facilitator to continue to help them move that needle forward and take those steps in the right direction.
Absolutely, 100%.
So let's talk through takeaways, because a lot of times you got one of three scenarios either happen. You're either sent to training by your manager, whether you like it or not. You want to get trained and actually come through, or you want to get trained, but then don't have the time to do it. Mm-hmm. So how do we not only engage those that maybe are just in it because their manager told them they have to go to training? Mm-hmm. That's part one. And then part two is, okay, now you've attended a training. How do you continue to do something after the fact? Because we know the key to any training is what actionables you're going to do after that. It's great to listen to it, but if you do nothing with it, it doesn't do anybody any good. So how do we continue that follow-up piece throughout post-training, if you will?
And that's a great point. Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know, but then when you don't put it in actionable steps. And I think one of the things that you said was the time that you take. First of all, people may or may not be willingly giving the time, but making it a good use of their time, making sure that we are planning, we're intentional, that we are structuring it in a way that's rewarding, but as well acknowledging their time. Just the simple statement of thank you for being here today, and using questions at the beginning to, although you may feel what it is that you need them to know during that time period, asking them what is it that they want to know during that time period, and making sure to be very open that questions and answers are welcome, and engagement in creating an environment in which they want to be there, as opposed to have to be there. And then when you end, the thing is you get what you ask for. So when we have a session providing an opportunity for them to practice, an opportunity to continue that learning in another session, or independent learning, or an actionable step of, we're going to do this again in 30 days, or, whatever it might be, to have them something to be able to gauge and make a metric for themselves, whether it just be building a clerical skill or building a sales skill or personal development skill. You have to bring that to them too.
Absolutely. Well, and I love what you said about setting the expectation for a follow-up discussion 30 days out. One of the things I like to talk about when we're doing training at National MI, especially when it relates to our clients, is we're happy to do it. But let's talk about also maybe scheduling a follow-up webinar or conference call or video call, if you will, maybe 30, 60, 90 days down the road, just to follow up with the team and see, okay, how is it going with the things that we talked about in the training discussion? If they know the follow-up's coming, they're also more likely to put it into play, because they don't want to be the person that gets asked, hey, how's it going? Ooh, I mean, I guess you can always fake it till you make it, but
no,
you can usually see through that, right?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah. And we want to inspire and motivate. And the whole thing is we can either enable them just by telling them what's expected, or empower them. And that's the whole point. And especially our industry, we all want to be empowered, and we're the personality types that, do want to take it and go. So motivate people in that way and give them the power, and off they go.
Absolutely. Well, and even when I love the empowerment part, because we are empowering you to be better on your time as well. Everyone has a perception of being busy. We know it's a changing market continuously in our industry, but you're always going to be busy in one way, shape, or form. But just taking that time out to invest in yourself. One of the things I love to say in our trainings is, I want to thank, like you said, thank you, but also thank yourselves for investing that time in yourself and saying that, yes, I do need to take this hour of my day, or maybe a half day, to get here, understand, learn some new things that I can now make myself better in my business. Because if we're not evolving, then we're stagnant. And we know that's how we're going to continue to grow. So I think one of the things that I wanted to cover today in our time together is just making sure you always are making time, and the importance of training and education and development. Because no matter where you are in your business, there's always opportunities for more.
Absolutely. As leaders of our teams, we have to keep that in mind as well, is if we approach it in the way with our teams that, oh, that's going to be a chore, or, you need to set the example in leadership roles as well, to make sure to be supportive of the coaching and the leadership, and showing that you're engaged and involved, sharing books that you're reading, even at that level, making sure that you're staying relevant with sharing what's impactful to you. You don't always have to have that title to be inspirational every day.
Absolutely. You don't have to necessarily have the title to be a leader. Also,
exactly.
But within your respective team. So
absolutely.
I think that's a great way to wrap us up here today.
Yeah.
So as always, for our viewers and our watchers, if you haven't followed us yet, make sure to follow The Mortgage Mix or National MI on YouTube to get updates on this. And then, of course, follow us and download us wherever you download your podcast, so you're always made aware of when a new episode drops of The Mortgage Mix. So I want to thank you, Sherry, for joining me today and sharing some great insights as far as training and where we hopefully continue to develop ourselves into the future. And thank you again for mixing it up with me, as I like to say.
Always a pleasure to spend time with you, Ralph.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.